Today is March 20th, and I want to provide some updates with what is happening with the dissolution of the Department of Ed, or so we think so. It's more a layoff. A dissolution cannot happen without congressional approval. I want to provide a latest update as well as what borrowers can be doing if they're trying to buy a home. Here at LoanSense, we have helped borrowers enroll in different plans if they're trying to buy a home. As soon as this announcement was made that the income-driven plans were taken away, what are options if you're trying to buy a home and you fear that you're not going to be able to because being in forbearance can hurt your mortgage qualification. So I want to address what are some options and what is LoanSense doing to help borrowers in this scenario, okay? So first and foremost, let's go with the news. There's just been a huge media blitz about how Trump is breaking the student loan system, breaking the student loan system. I'm just looking down at my cell phone. Student loan borrowers are going to see their payments soar after the Trump's changes. And then, of course, the Teachers Union Federation, American Federation of Teachers, is suing Trump for stopping affordable plans. So let's talk about what can be done if you actually need a payment to qualify for a loan product like a mortgage, or what are your options if you're trying to get public service loan forgiveness. The reason this is so important is because not paying on your student loans does not actually help you get loan forgiveness. So let's talk about the options for that as well. Okay, so first and foremost, I want to just say there are options. We helped as soon as this announcement was made that income-driven plans cannot be enrolled into. What are your options? There are two available filings that borrowers can still do. They can put themselves in a forbearance with a payment still, or they can enroll in standard or extended fix while this pause is taking place. If you are trying to get public service loan forgiveness credit, I would recommend filing into standard momentarily while this pause is continuing if you want to get this time counted for loan forgiveness. So let me explain why. The standard plan, as long as it's standard and not standard for consolidated loan, but just a standard plan, or income-driven plans count towards loan forgiveness, okay? So if you want this time while you're working at a nonprofit or government organization to count towards loan forgiveness, then I would enroll in standard momentarily. If the payments are too high, then maybe being in pause is okay. If you're trying to buy a home and standard is too high for the mortgage affordability, then borrowers can momentarily enroll into extended fix. And once income driven comes back, you can always re-enroll. I do want to give a disclaimer though, that enrolling into extended fix will cause interest capitalization. The reason that's so important to understand is people ask, okay, what is interest capitalization? Interest capitalization is essentially all the interest that accumulates on your loan is based on accruing interest on the principal balance. So let's say your interest rate is 7%, there's a daily rate, and the daily rate accrues on, let's say you have a $30,000 balance and you have $10,000 in interest on your loan. Well, the interest is going to accrue on that $30,000 balance. It's not going to accrue on the $10,000 of interest. Interest capitalization means that that $10,000 interest is now added to your principal balance, which means interest will now capitalize on the $40,000. So it can in fact hurt you. But if you are going towards loan forgiveness anyways, the amount of interest that accrues does not matter as much. So if you're trying to buy a home, you're a public servant, and want greater insight into the actions you can take today to better qualify, we are here on standby. Please get started at My Loan Sense. We'll put links below. And I know I just went into a whole ton of minutia, but it's really important that people understand their options. Excuse me. So just to summarize real quick, if you're trying to buy a home, getting into a payment is great. There are two forms that can be filed right now: forbearance with a payment, or standard or extended. I do never recommend graduated, just because the payment keeps going up. But if you do graduate and you're going to start with a lower payment now, and you can use that for mortgage closing, and you can go back into income driven later as well, we can help you analyze the different scenarios to get the documentation for mortgage closing. But I did have a question earlier today being asked at me if people can enroll into borrower defense still. The answer is yes. That application is still open. The consolidation application is still open as well. But just keep in mind, with the layoffs, the processing of borrower defense is likely to be delayed more than it was when Biden was in office and the department was fully staffed. So I just want to put that caveat out there. You can still file into consolidation, but there is no income-driven repayment plan paperwork that will go with it if you're trying to do it online by yourself. Again, if you don't know exactly the actions you should take, we're here. We're here to understand your scenario fully, what your goals, what you want to achieve, and what we can help you do in order to get to your goals, whether it's getting your loans forgiven or qualifying for a mortgage. So that is the latest update. Let us know if you have any questions. We're here on standby to answer them and to be as of much help as possible. We'll talk soon.